I'm Peter Zampa in Wyoming. A mental health crisis is crippling our nation. The Allens lost their son to suicide, and now they're fighting to make sure no other family has to experience that grief.
Rolling plains, vacant roads, and a small town community where rodeo reigns supreme.
And this guy is DeWalt.
That's life for the Allen family here in Cheyenne. Andrea, Shane, and their children, Molly and Cole.
Cole was always really natural with the rope. Even when he didn't rodeo, he could swing a rope really well.
When he left for college, Cole was winning competitions and practicing alongside world champions. But something else was bubbling beneath his tough exterior.
When did you sort of start to see some of the mental health issues arrive?
Maybe 2 weeks before it happened. I was completely stunned.
That's, you never want to outlive your children. I mean, that's not how it's expected to be.
Cole died by suicide in October 2021, weeks after starting at Central Arizona College.
Cole hit it very well. Cole was small, and we always thought he was so tough because he just never acted like it bothered him. Well, that was the beginning of putting on a mask.
So do you think he had been living with some of these issues for years and was just masking them or not showing them?
You know, I think Cole didn't want to worry anybody. So I think there was some stuff going on with Cole that we didn't know. We live in a state that there's not a lot of people. There's lots of miles in between everybody. And you learn to do things for yourself, or that's the expectation.
Wyoming has the highest suicide rate in the nation. In 2021, the national rate was 14 deaths per 100,000 people. It was more than double that in Wyoming.
People come in, suicide is typically not the problem. There's a problem or problems that are causing somebody to have that mental health or suicide crisis.
Jeremy Bay works with Grace for Two Brothers, an organization in Wyoming aiming to educate the community on suicide prevention and be a safe space for those in crisis.
Would you talk about the specifics of rural life and frontier life that really contribute to this mental health crisis in this state?
I think a lot of it is access to care. You know, sometimes your closest mental health care provider is, 50, 60 miles away. If you live in a small rural frontier town, you don't necessarily want your vehicle to be in front of the mental health care provider's home because everybody knows what's going on.
How can we address that and sort of reverse this stigma that exists?
There is so much stigma around it. People don't want to talk about it because of the reactions that they're going to get. So a lot of times people that are struggling with their mental health or thoughts of suicide need somebody else to be the one who brings it up.
How seriously do you think leaders in this state are taking this crisis?
I think that everyone is aware of the problem. I think there are people who are dedicated to the problem. I think we all need to get our canoes rowing in the same direction as to what's going to work.
Cole had so much character in that hat.
For the Allen family, sharing Cole's story is how they keep making their mark, using their grief to battle the stigma.
Don't be scared to get help. It's a condition. It's no different than cancer. You don't treat cancer at your house. You go find professional help, right? Mental health is the same thing.
I know that there are kids that are in counseling and that are getting the help that they need that may not have, because we're helping make it easier to talk about.
If you or someone you know needs help, call or text 988 to speak to a crisis counselor at the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.